Hello all. Today we are going to see theory of computation under that Epsilon NFA. Till now we have learned what is DFA. In previous lectures we have seen what is DFA, what is NFA. We have learned in detail with the examples. So today's agenda is that to understand Epsilon NFA. Very first we'll understand what is epsilon. What is epsilon? Epsilon is nothing but null value. Epsilon is nothing but null value. What is that null value? That means without any input. Without any input that you are going to move the transition. We'll understand Q0 is my starting state. For every NFA, DFA I will have a starting state. In the Epsilon NFA I will have starting state. We know that with some input, some A input, I will go to Q1 state. With some input, I will go to Q2 state. This we know about the NFA. This we know about the NFA. If there is DFA, what can be DFA? Q0 will be the starting state. If I will transit for A, I have to check out what is the transition for B. B I will keep here. For B, for Q1, if B is going there, for A, I can keep at self state. Q2 will be my final state and I can have A with some state, B I can have self. This is DFA. Now we'll try to learn what is Epsilon NFA. Let's consider Q0 will be my starting state. With epsilon input I can go to Q1 state. With epsilon input I can go to Q2 state and I can have B as a self loop. What we understood here, in NFA I should have a input that Q0 will be a state, A will be input, then I will reach to Q1. In DFA, Q0 when it will take A as the input, it will reach to Q1, but at the same time I have to check what about B. That means A and B are the input. Then if I do the transition for A, then I must look out what is for B. But in Epsilon NFA, what I can do, Q0 will take input as epsilon, it is go to Q1. That means in this NFA, Q0 to Q1 A as the input. In DFA, Q0 to Q1 A as the input. But in Epsilon NFA, Q0 to Q1, there is not any input. There is epsilon input. That means without any input symbol, I can traverse from state Q0 to Q1. So we'll see some more example. We'll try to draw the NFA. Q0 will be starting state. If there is A, here will be epsilon. Q1, here will be epsilon. It will go to Q2. This is also NFA. That means in our given finite automata, we have to use epsilon value. Whenever we are going to find any epsilon value in any finite automata, then that is a epsilon NFA. So we'll try to understand the tuples. What will be the tuples for epsilon NFA? Tuples for epsilon NFA, Q, number of states. After that, input symbol, the states, input symbol. Q0 will be the starting state. After that, F will be the final state and delta transition. Delta will be the transition for the states. So let's take one example of epsilon NFA and we'll try to understand. Q. What are the Q here? Q0, Q1, Q2. These are the state. We'll check input. What is input? Here I have B as the input symbol and epsilon as input symbol. Epsilon consider as input symbol. Q0 is a starting state. F for the final state and delta for transition. That means Q0 after taking epsilon as an input, it will go to state Q1. That will be the transition. So that we have to remember what is epsilon NFA. that a state will take epsilon as an input and it will go to the some other state. Then it is a epsilon NFA. What is epsilon? Epsilon considered as null value. That means there is no input symbol or there is no input value there. How many tuples are there? There are 5 tuples. What are those? Number of states, input symbol, starting state, final state, and delta transition. Transition, the state, what type of input it will take and where it is going. That is nothing but the transitions. So we'll see one more example also. Q0 will a starting state. If there is 1 with epsilon value, it will go to Q state. If there is 2, there is epsilon input, then I will go to state Q2 with something like 3. That means here the epsilon input from Q0 to Q1 and epsilon input from Q1 to Q2. So we have used epsilon input here. So this is nothing but epsilon NFA. So we have seen 3 examples. This is epsilon NFA. This is epsilon NFA second example, and this is third example of epsilon NFA. We will say epsilon NFA whenever we will use epsilon value at there. So thank you for the